Hello, brothers and sisters. So, I had a lot of people message me about what is monophobia, and I got shitty. I was like, Google it. And a whole bunch of people was like, don't be mean. People were just asking, giving you an opportunity to give your version of it. So, this is what is monophobia according to Cody. Monophobia is the fear of being alone. The biggest unprovable fact in child psychologists throughout the planet, that is the leading cause of cot death. Most children, teenagers into adulthood tend to unalive themselves before the age of 25. You have to think about the aspects of actually when you're alone. Stuff like going to the toilet, having a shower, making dinner, sleeping. I heard everyone say, did he just say sleeping? Yeah, sleeping. So in most aspects, there seems to be 4 stages and repercussions of monophobia. First stage, I'm going to call moon stage. Simply imagine waking up on the moon. You're in a spacesuit, so you cannot unlive, but there is no sound. There is no electricity, there is no traffic, there is no cars, there is no people. No ambient sound whatsoever. The only sound that you will hear will be probably your own breathing and the sound of your own heartbeat. Stage 2 is what I like to call falling out of reality. Imagine if you did wake up on the moon. You can clearly see planet Earth. You know where you are. You know what has happened to you, but you cannot figure out how it has become about. You would go quite mad. Detachment from reality. Your adrenaline would go up. Respiratory system would go through the roof. You would sweat, so your fluid levels would go down. You would start to breathe heavily, inducing hyperventilation. Mild delusions set in. Fear, anxiety, stress. You would find yourself sitting on the floor crying to be taken away. Stage 3. I like to call this buried alive. Imagine being placed in a small grave and then slowly being buried alive. Your muscles would feel the pressure, your lungs would feel the pressure. You wouldn't be able to expand your lungs, therefore oxygen depletion would begin. The intense pressure suddenly added to the body would increase muscle spasms. Stress and panic sets in. Pressure on your lungs would slowly start to deplete oxygen levels, at which point you would actually pass out. Carbon dioxide levels would flood the system, saturate the blood, and shortly coma ensues, followed by unliving. I happen to be a born atheist. 100% devout, born atheist. I have zero belief in the human soul. Conclusion, there is nowhere for me to go. Yep, that's exactly right. Unliving would be the ultimate alone. How does this impact family life? Before 2011, nearly 98% of the people that suffer from monophobia were misdiagnosed. Most people that suffer with the disease have a lot of childhood problems. Most people that suffer with the disorder have a lot of problems at home due to the internal need to break free of one's family. How does monophobia affect friendships? People with monophobia will lock on to almost anyone. Friends, lovers. They will build intense bonds almost instantaneously, show intense loyalty and quite often devotion. This often leaves them very open to manipulation, heartache and pain. They may feel intense loss or sadness due to a simple friendships are lost. They will often go to great lengths to survive a friendship. They find they get used very often, emotionally and financially. How does monophobia affect relationships? They will almost instantaneously fall in love with anyone that says the words, I love you. They will quite often fall completely madly in love with anyone that they actually make love with. There would be no aspect of the person's personality that he wouldn't accept. There would be no lengths that the person wouldn't go to protect that person. Even going so far as to commit unliving to protect that person. How does monophobia affect sexual relations? People with monophobia are acutely aware of a partner's desire and needs, making them extremely good lovers. How does monophobia affect daily life? Most monophobes will find themselves intensely happy while surrounded by or in the presence of any people, but then will feel incredible depression with the slightest moment of alone time. They will cling to people, they will attempt to make connections that aren't there. They will see connections that aren't there. They will go to great lengths to please people in order to have them as friends. They will use financial aid to try to assist people or convince people to spend time with them. Monophobics need to have human presence. A voice on the end of the phone would never be enough. They need to be able to see the person and acknowledge the person acknowledges them as being alive. This can create much difficulty, sadness, pain and depression. Monophobics are quite empathic. Monophobics are generally quite accepting of all people. Monophobics cry. They will feel intense joy moments before meeting a person, an incredible sadness and a longing to not leave people when about to leave people. Monophobics love to be loved and love to be hated. Any interaction is a bonus. I hope this has been informative, and thank you very much for listening.